Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We can start.
Yes, yeah. So we're going to see about natural language processing. In short, it is called NLP. Uh, yeah. So what is natural language processing? It's actually a subdomain of artificial intelligence, and that's why we have this session in this FTP. So natural language processing is all about automatic processing of human languages by the computers, either in the form of text or speech. So even before like understanding this definition, the formal definition, so I'll just tell you like how to interpret this natural language processing. So when we are talking about languages from computer science student or from the computer science perspective or teachers, whoever it is, so we have two languages. So one is programming, and then this is called natural, right? So we are not talking about the programming. So this is not about this language processing. So this is natural. So that is human spoken. So human spoken, whatever we speak or we write. So how do computers process? So because languages are very complicated, right? So because languages, there are so many languages, and we all know that India is a multilingual country. So how does we learn right from right from our birth, right? So how do we interpret language? So each and every child is learning his or her mother tongue, right? So that's a big process. So it's not happening overnight. So the same way, the computers are also coded because the coded to make how we to understand how we write or speak. So that is what is natural language processing. Now you should be understanding this sentence like, so how automatically computers are able to ma'am, let me know, ma'am. There's a power fluctuation. I think it should be back. Am I audible? Am I connected?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So if I'm disconnected, please call me, ma'am. I'll switch on my data. Okay.
Yes.
This is how this is what is natural language processing is about. Like how I'm speaking and you're interpreting. So if in your place, if I replace a computer, so will the computer also interpret the same way you do? If the computer is able to do that, then it is enabled with natural language processing techniques. So that is what is natural language processing. So yeah, of course, like having said all these, it helps to interact with computers using human languages, of course. So we interact a lot these days, more to computers than with humans. So we need NLP, compulsorily, of course. So this NLP domain has rooted from the field of linguistics. Even in this can be seen in arts and science colleges. So they have the field as linguistics. So linguistics talk more about languages. So this evolved from this field, and then it got integrated with our computer science. So it's roughly 50 years old, and now NLP is integrated with machine learning, deep learning, and whatnot. And it has become an application of ML. And like image processing, now natural language processing also has become an application of ML, deep learning. And obviously, it's the subdomain of artificial intelligence. So today we're going to see like how natural language processing techniques work. And of course, we are all um, coupled with NLP applications already. With more applications, we're going to see. So the Google is an excellent and beautiful example of natural language processing application. So I just got this challenges of natural language. This is a query I gave. See, it is these many results. This is what we were talking about in the morning, right? So about these many results have been retrieved in this many seconds. Okay, so but what I wanted to, so this is actually classification. So this is a class, and these are the results pertaining to this class. So that is about supervised learning. And yeah, so what we are targeting now is that, so I gave a query. So this search engine, don't you think that like it is a machine, right? So it is understanding. So that I wanted to know the challenges of natural language processing. It understood my query, which is written in a human language, right? So in the form of text. So it gave this answer to me. So that means it is able to understand. So this is natural language processing. So to make this to happen, there are so many things running at the back end. So we will come to that shortly. So this is also natural language. So that this is about like I ask a query, it is answering. So this is one dimension to it. And this is also like I ask a query, even before I finish that, it is trying to finish that. So it is predicting. So this is called like a query prediction. So we call it as or word prediction algorithms are running at the back end. So you can understand this as all probabilistic. So all math teachers should be able to get this point straight. So what is the probability that if a goldfish is given, so what is the probability that swimming upside down will follow this word? What is the probability that the word turning black will be given? So of course, this is pre-trained with training sentences. There are so many training sentences running at the back end. All these sentences, all these words, these co-occurrences are calculated. The probabilities are calculated. The chain probabilities are calculated. Your Markov models are running at the back end, and that's how this word prediction algorithms are working. So this is one dimension you can think of. Like one is query answering, and then yeah. So this is information. We call this as information extraction. While this we call it as information retrieval. I asked something. This is actually information retrieval. This is, I'm sorry. So this is IR. This is word prediction. So this is information retrieval. Okay. So yeah. So this is information. So information retrieval, the difference between that is that you ask something and I give you a bunch of results. So these many results. Of course, we're not going to check beyond the 10th web page. And it is my duty to look into these results and find the answer. Of course, nowadays Google is giving this straightaway answers to certain queries. If the query is answerable, it is giving. So this we call it as QA, question answering system. So this is one perspective of NLP. So this information extraction is about like I ask some information, I don't want anything else. I want only particular information. So whatever I want, you give me that. So rest of the stories I don't want. So that is called information extraction. The computer gives us whatever you asked for. So that's what is information extraction. But here it is your duty to pick up, look at the web pages and find the answer. That is retrieval. Okay. So this is information extraction. So what is the weather in the Chennai city today? And so you get the current temperature, and also so you see the forecast for the upcoming week. So this is all machine learning. So this is machine learning. So what's the word prediction algorithm? So it is understanding the part which is understanding my query is NLP. But the background, which is prediction, is happening by MLDL algorithms. So that is how NLP is integrated with DL. Yeah, so this Google translation, many of you have done this. I don't know Hindi, but so that's why I gave English and I got this. So what is your name? So you can go to googletranslate.com and you can type. So there Google translation is working for almost all Indian languages. So you type here, you get this, right? So this is, and translation, don't you think it is very difficult? So what makes NLP very difficult? It's not difficult, but from the computer perspective I'm talking about, what makes it very difficult is that like when you and me are talking, so there's more possibility that you interpret my sentence in a very different dimension. So that's how disparities occur and misunderstandings occur, right? So that is happening with humans. Why? Because many words have different meaning. So the this famous sentence we usually cite: a man saw the girl with a telescope. So a man saw the girl through the telescope. So that is one dimension to it. And the man saw the girl who was having the telescope. There is two meanings to it. So how do you actually interpret it? But when you translate it, it's not going to be the same meaning. So when you translate to Hindi, the man saw a girl with a telescope. Though the English is input is the same, but if you want to translate it, you got to disambiguate it to what actually it meant. So that makes NLP very difficult. And you can try Google Translate, with many idioms and phrases or ambiguous sentences. It will definitely throw with funny answers. Why? Because it's like Google translations have definitely got better in the past few years. So but still it is throwing funny answers. Why? Because natural language is very difficult to process and disambiguate. So that is the main thing. So you can give idioms and phrases, but I do not know Hindi, that's why I did not give. So Tamil I know, so that's why I gave Tamil, and it got translated to English. Okay, so this is one. So Google translation, machine translation, we call this as machine translation. And this is also an NLP application. And the background behind this is machine learning, definitely machine learning. So I give this, how this, this I can do, what can be Kya, I think. So is your name. So word to word, you can do it. But what is the word order? So that is very difficult, right? So because English is a SVO pattern. So that meaning it has a fixed word order. So subject, verb, I ate apple. So this ate should be there only. I apple ate does not make any sense. But if you translate that into any Indian language, I'm sure about Hindi at least and Tamil. So that ate in Hindi can come anywhere, I think. But Tamil, I know. How about Hindi? It's the same, right? I've checked with my students. We teach only mostly to North Indian students. Is that the same, right? The eight in Hindi can come in any place of the sentence, but it makes sense. Am I right? This verb. Verb can be changed in any part of the sentence, but still it would make sense. Is my point right? With Hindi, I am talking about. In Tamil, it's correct. Am I connected?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, it's right, right? I ate apple. If you change the verb position in any, if you change the verb position, I ate apple. I do not know any other language than Tamil. So nan apple sapitin, apple nan sapitin, sapitin nan apple. I can change the word position. What I'm trying to tell is that English is a fixed word order language. So, but all Indian, most of the Indian languages are partially free word order languages. The word order is not the same. The word order is very difficult. So, when you translate from one language, which is a fixed word order language, to the other word order language, is going to throw a much of difficulty. So that's where so the language models are still suffering. So, and when it gets very lengthier, and most of the Indian language is morphologically rich. Verb will tell you more information about the tense. So like சாப்பிட்டு கொண்டிருந்தார்கள். So that means they were eating. So that means that will tell you. So you can map it in your mother tongue. So the verb will tell you whether it's a she, or it will tell you the gender information. Am I right? Tense information. Am I right? And number information. How many people were doing that task? So we call this as PNG marker. First person or second person, how many people were doing, gender, everything Your verb itself will tell. So our Indian languages are morphologically rich, but that is not the case with English. So when you're trying to, the point I'm trying to convey is that when you're trying to translate the two languages which rooted from totally a different culture, it's going to be very difficult task. Maybe you can build a machine translation system between the languages which are looking similar, but that's very difficult when you are trying to do for two different languages that rooted from different culture. So that's the point. So then there are so many things that are very difficult, so we are going to see shortly. So this is one thing. So this is a famous tool we are all using right now, right? Alexa. So you order Alexa to do all these, but Alexa should be able to understand, right? That's what that's why I kept this slide. So when I am talking, so maybe the people who know me better, so even when I'm speaking very fast or very slow, in whatever pace I am talking, this is speech to text. Why I'm talking about all this pace and all, speech to speech recognition system. So far what we have seen is text. NLP is about both text and speech. Okay, so that's what that's why I'm insisting. Speech recognition. So people know me, can understand my pace, but what about the machine? So the machine should understand many people, right? So many people's pace. It has to be trained with so many types of input. So that's how these Alexas are able to. This is how it is. It is able to answer your queries, but still they are all having still limitations, but they are working for all the Google assistants or all the Android assistants we have, right? So whatever assistants you have, Siri, Cortana, whatever, Bixby, all these assistants the same work the same way. So they are interpreting your speech signal, and they are internally converting into text. That's how a machine can understand. It cannot understand operate straight away on speech signals. Yeah, voice search. So you can use your Google search engine by just giving your voice as a query that will get converted into text. So that is speech to text. So all ML applications are working at the running at the background. Yeah. So what we are expecting from NLP applications, we are so more than this. Like if you are using MS Word, MS Word is able to spell check. That is also NLP. MS Word is able to correct your sentence grammar. That is also NLP. So whatever devices around you which are able to understand your text and speech, that is NLP application. So what is our expectation? So our expectation out of NLP application is to understand a grammar. Yeah, you have to understand the grammar. You have to understand the meaning. You have to understand the spelling, understand the intent. What is your intent? I want apple, I said, but what is my intent? Is my intention is to get the Mac apple, computer apple, or I want the fruit? What is my intention, or what did I actually mean? Understand your location to give your temperature. Or yeah, so if you're ordering a food, if you're ordering a food from one location, it has to list out the restaurants that are surrounded in your city, right? When you're using Google search, if you're trying to, you can try this. Like if you're trying to search like what are the best restaurants, it won't search the restaurants which is in California. It is a location specific. So it has to understand your location, it has to understand everything. So speech to text, so that's voice over query. So you can give a query and it can search for you. Text to speech, you give text and we are going to see this Python code. We will see this in the practical session. NLP applications that translate from one language to another, machine translation, Google translation, we just saw, and search. So there are so many things that are happening. So NLP is interwoven with machine learning and deep learning algorithms. So, and it is a subdomain. And yeah, extract information. So we just saw just now, and Google Assistant, Alexa, map. Yeah, maps, Google Maps. Without Google Maps, we cannot step out now. And NLP applications can summarize, give statistics. Yes, so it can give statistics, it can draw graph for you. When you give text, it can summarize and then give statistics to you. So this you could have observed in Cricinfo websites or cricket websites, you could have summarize. Yes. So in this fast moving world, we do not want to sit and learn, sit and read the big document. We want the crisp summary of anything. So summary generators like work like human, how human can generate a summary out of it, and it can summarize for you. So movie reviews, yeah, this you would have seen in many places in Amazon. So we are now ordering in pandemic situation, we are ordering most of the products through Amazon and Flipkart. So before you select a product, so you would like to give study the review of the product. So most of the Amazon products are manually written reviews, but this is possible. So movie reviews and product reviews, using movie that can be automatically generated, or using movie reviews and product reviews, you can come up with a sentiment analysis. So you have more reviews with you, so you can do a sentiment analysis if that movie is a good one or a bad one. So or you can even do a, so this is a classification problem, supervised classification problem. So it's a positive sentiment or a negative sentiment, you're doing a binary classification there. Or you can even, given a movie, you're classifying it into whether it is a romantic movie or it's a comedy movie, or it's a horror movie. So what kind of, like, that is a multi-class classification. So there you're attempting a multi-classification, and you're also attempting NLP technique to understand chatbots. Yeah, chatbots are like your Google Assistant, and nowadays even banks have chatbots. Like you, many companies have integrated chatbots with them. So nowadays they have replaced people with chatbots. You can give your problems, and chatbots can set your problem right. So there are so many NLP applications around us. So I thought I should talk about this so that the rest of the things can be easily understood. Okay. So now, how do NLP applications? How are I'm sorry, how are NLP applications built? So, how intelligence is fed into them? Are they more powerful than humans? Absolutely no. So they're not more powerful than humans. They're still not. At least today, till today, these NLP applications are definitely not powerful than humans, because the language interpretation is still under research, and still language tools have to be, NLP tools and applications have to be improvised. There's a lot of room for research in that. And how intelligence is fed? So NLP applications are like babies only. So how babies interpret, study language, the same way they also learn. So this you will understand. Yeah. So do you remember how we learned our mother tongue and other languages? The same way, these are the levels they also go through. So when we were born, we were taught with characters, right? First, A, B, or somebody would have uttered words. So we started from character level, and then word level, and then we started framing sentences, and then we started interpreting the sentences and connected them with the other sentences, and then we understood, and then we spoke, and then we learned to reply. So these are all happened in stage by stage. So this is how NLP applications are also learning. So even when you're asking, the spell checking is happening, right? So when you would have noticed, you this red line coming when you type something wrong in your MS Word. So those spell checking applications or grammar applications also uh, learn the same way. So there are so many levels in which an NLP application tries to understand the human spoken languages, like we do also interpret. Okay, so so far it is at least clear like what NLP is about. Is there any question? We have just seen the introduction. I was just talking about the NLP applications around us, so that we'll understand the process very simply, very easily. So far, any doubts? Yes. Can we move?
Yes, ma'am. No question.
Okay, okay, okay. Thank you, ma'am. Yeah. So this again, the levels of NLP dimension. So there are so many NLP application. Not all applications are are built at the same intelligence level. Your spell checker can only understand the word. Your grammar checker can only understand a word or a sentence. Your speech, I mean your search engine can understand sentence, it can't understand a paragraph level text. So each have their own limitation, so is the levels. So whatever level an NLP application is, whatever task an NLP application has to do, or for whichever it is designed for, to that level it is okay to feed the knowledge, and it will work at that level. So you'll understand this when we are done with the slide. So this is one level of dimension, the character. So I said, right? So some NLP applications can understand the string and character level, word token level. So it can understand word. So you're giving a word, it can understand whether that word is a noun, or um, it can understand the grammatical part, or it can understand the meaning, whatever it is. But beyond that word level, if you give two words, apple, fruit, if you ask that to understand, it won't. Word by word it can understand. So word level, and some applications can understand at the sentence level. If you take the machine translation, Google Translation application example we were looking at, it's a sentence level application. Even it can work beyond the sentence level. If you talk about the search engine, what we are using, that's a sentence level application. So Alexa, all these Google Assistants, they're all sentence level applications. So this window level, you don't need to worry about. We can just skip it. Paragraph. So collection of sentences is paragraph. You can ask me like, what is a big deal in that? So if an application is working for a sentence level, why not it is working for a paragraph? So paragraphs mean something else, right? So I cannot call a list of sentences to be a paragraph. You agree with me? Why? Because I cannot say that this makes a paragraph. This will only make the paragraph if this sentence is connected to this, or this sentence is, there's some connection between them. The connection can be in terms of like this can have let's say this sentence is talking about Sachin Tendulkar. This sentence can talk about this Sachin Tendulkar, but it is not having the word Sachin Tendulkar. It can have the word pronouns. Okay, but you and me can understand that. But how does the machine understand? So that is the difficulty of the paragraph level working NLP applications. So understanding that it is a pronoun, and even if you understand that it's a pronoun, like how do you know that this pronoun is linked to which noun in this sentence? There can be a number of nouns in this sentence. How do you actually locate it? So these are the problems that are happening. So your paragraph level, your Alexa or chatbots, they're all paragraph level applications. But they should understand, because you're chatting with the chatbot on a continuous basis, right? I ask a question, it answers, and it asks a question, I'm answering. It has to remember my first question and then continue with that. Even it has to remember some nth question, while it has to remember my first question, even if it is answering my nth question. So it has to remember, there's a lot of memory involved, and there is a lot of connections involved. So that makes paragraph level NLP applications very difficult. So this is sentence level. Sentence level will only your grammar checker. They cannot work beyond a sentence. They won't. They will only be built to understand a sentence. Whole document, your summary generation, or reviews generation, or that is all. Or if you want to draw statistics out of a document, text document, then you have to understand the whole document. So you're given a paragraph, again, the same problem. You have a para 1, 2, 3. So how does the second sentence in this para is connected to this sentence, the third sentence of this para one? So there is a lot of semantic thread running throughout. It's so difficult to understand. So you and me can understand. So we should always think this from the machine perspective. How does the computer understand? Of course, we have to give that knowledge. So computer is only a baby. We have to provide the knowledge it requires. Then only it will also understand. The same way we developed the dictionary in our mind, and how did we build the knowledge base for that particular language. English may not be at the same level as that of our mother tongue, so you can compare that, right? So vocabulary of your mother tongue would be more, I don't know, in this generation, but still. How much vocabulary of Tamil words, I mean, your mother tongue words, how much vocabulary your second language words, so there's a lot of variation, right? So how much of knowledge you supply to the application, to that level it is going to, that's what I'm trying to convey. So how much ever knowledge you supply, to that level the NLP applications will be built. So even all these chat box or your search engines are working the same way. Multi-document collection. So multi-document, of course, Google is a very good example, right? The search engine is not built for a single document. It is built for to handle trillions of documents. Every day Google is updating its database, and every day trillions of documents are crawled and it is updated. Database is updated, but still it is understanding each and every document, and it is clustering. There comes the unsupervised learning. It is grouping all the similar documents, and it is working something on that. So that is how this is one level of NLP applications you can think of. This is one dimension. Yeah, this is the dimension 2. I'll tell you how this dimension gets connected with the dimension 2 gets connected with the dimension 1. Excuse me. Yeah. Phonology is sound. So NLP is both speech and text, right? So we call it as phonemes. So how phonemes are interpreted and they are converted into a speech. So syllables, we talk of syllables, right? So the phonemes are also working on the same way. So morphology, so how a word is split into phonemes and how it is interpreted. So that is one level. So this is a different level. And morphology. So morphology, for instance, how breaks down words into morphemes. So for instance, singing. How do you break down this word? Sing plus ing. This is very simple, right? So let me write this. Smiling. Smile plus ing. This came easy, but this is not that easy because I had to add this e. So how will the computer know that this has to be added? So and you can ask me one question like, why at all I need to do this? Yes, I need to do this. Why? Because I need to understand whether this is a noun or a verb. The computer needs to understand. So when it is answering, when Amazon, when Alexa is answering your query, or when Google search is understanding your query, it has to definitely understand the grammatical part of it. So it has to do this way only. That's what I'm trying to understand. This is how the computer is interpreting our language. So to do this, it has to split the suffixes, because this is a marker that says, the case ending says that this is a verb. So again, I would like to insist one point. This is a classification problem. So classification problem. So given the classifiers will work this way. Given the case ending ing, what is the probability that singing is a verb? So this is how they work on statistics. So most of the NLP application, if you look at it, the classifiers, naive Bayes classifier. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, I said that. Yeah, MS Word is also an NLP application. It is trying to understand your spellings, and it is trying to understand your grammar for the sentences. It is NLP. Whatever text you're typing in the document, right? That is natural language, right? Whatever humans use, that is natural language. Yes, text and speech is natural language. Okay.
But speech is a different because it has to understand what we speak, then it convert into text, and then it has to understand. No, it's
Yes,
not.
that's a two-level process, but that is also NLP.
Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. So then that is about morphology. This is morphology. Morphology is about like giving a word. Why I'm talking about these dimensions is that your NLP applications have to be fed with these. These are the knowledge levels at which the NLP applications has to be fed. So if your MS Word should be having this morphological knowledge, that's what I'm trying to tell. These classifiers should be running at the back end. Then only it will be able to answer your, I mean, mark that red line. No, so whenever you make a mistake, it has to. So assign meanings to this individual words, lexical. So what is the meaning? So in MS Word, you would have notice, like if you right click and see the, like what is the synonyms. So thesaurus is there. Like what are the other words so that you can use? So that is lexical, and syntactic is grammar. So syntactic is grammar. I told you, right? So I ate apple. So what is the syntax? So I can draw a tree. This is one sentence. Okay. So this sentence is having a noun phrase and a verb phrase. So noun is I, and this verb phrase is having verb and a noun. Verb is nothing but ate, and this is apple. Internally your computer is trying to understand this way only. So that is syntactic. Syntactic means like when a sentence is given, so how it is actually working in the sense, English is for a language. Remember, most of the NLP applications are language specific. Of course, you can build language independent models, but that are very difficult. So most of the NLP applications are language specific. Maybe you can adapt the technique, but if it is meant for English, your MS Word can only work for English. It can't throw an error when you make when you type Tamil. So even if it is doing so, then the different strategy would be integrated into it. That's what I'm trying to tell. So why I'm drawing this tree is that it is trying to understand the grammar this in this hierarchy only inside. That's what I'm trying to talk about. Like when you make a grammatical mistake, I ate, I eating, I ate, I mean, if you make any grammatical mistake here, it is able to understand because it does not fit into this tree which is already fed into it. So that's what is syntactic is about. Semantic is about like understanding the meaning. What is the price of the apple, right? So that disambiguation. So what is that apple? Is that apple a fruit, or is that apple a computer? So you can even type in parallel when I'm speaking on the tab, apple. You just what is the price of the apple? You just type in Google. I think the first rank would be given for the computer apple. So nobody cares about the fruit apple. I think it is also there, but the priority is given for the computer apple. So how do you understand the semantics and discourse? So discourse is a higher level. So most of the applications stop at this level. So these two are left for research. These two levels are under research. So most of the people do research at this level. Discourse is nothing but like I was telling, right? So how do two sentences connect to each other? So using the pronouns can be there, or some nicknames. A document about Sachin Tendulkar can be there. One sentence is talking about Sachin Tendulkar and he's having so many nicknames, and many sentences are having his nicknames. How do understand? How do an application tries to understand? So you can ask one question like why it needs to understand that language. For the Google is using that text document, right? So it has to count each and every word. So if you type the word Sachin Tendulkar, the first ranking, there are so many ranking strategy. To make it simple, I'm telling you this. So the first document that pops up, okay, so that will have most frequently the query, whatever you gave the query, that query will be frequently used in that particular document. That's why it got high priority and it came in the first rank. Remember, this is not the only strategy. For explaining purpose, I am telling you. But say the document is having Sachin Tendulkar only once, but the rest of the documents are all having the pronouns and as nicknames. Then if it counts that only once, then this document, though it is very important and it is talking about Sachin Tendulkar more, then it will not be in the right ranking. It has to be given the correct ranking. How would this will happen if you're not doing the discourse? Okay, so the discourse is like how you can only interpret sentences and say, okay, these are the pronouns. This he is referring to Sachin Tendulkar. This him is referring to Sachin Tendulkar. This nickname is referring to Sachin Tendulkar. Okay, let us also count those uh, references and give top weightage to this and make this as the first rank document. So that's where this comes into picture. And pragmatic is very very in the baby stage of research. So pragmatic, so discourse is something like you try to interpret it when the sentences are there in front of you, the two sentences are there or four sentences are there, you're trying to link them. The pragmatic is, you don't, the sentences is not even there, but you have to use the external knowledge to interpret it. I'll give a simple example. I don't know how many people saw Bahubali movie. So you have Bahubali movie 1 and 2, right? To understand the second version, you should have watched Bahubali 1. So it's in your mind. Okay. And then that knowledge is in your mind. Using that knowledge, your understanding too. That is actually equivalent to pragmatic. So something like you're reading the novel, and the novel has been trying to the NLP application is trying to perform a summarizing, or it is understanding or doing some task on it. Then it has to keep it in mind the previous version of the novel, the series one, right? Series one, two, or whatever. So this is pragmatics. This is very very difficult. So most of the application will have these levels of knowledges, but discourse also has come up to a decent level these days. So this is how NLP applications try to understand languages at different levels. Not all this MS Word is will never understand the semantic. It will not understand semantic. Okay, so it is perfectly, MS Word will perfectly throw it'll say okay if you type the penguin drove the car, it's okay. It doesn't matter for it, right? So who's going to drive the car? It doesn't matter for that MS Word application. Okay, noun is there, verb is there, so now some object is there, and it is okay. So it will only check this tree structure. So to that level only they will work. But certain applications, if that is a chatbot, then it can't say okay, right? So it has to be fed some more. The penguins cannot drive the car. So then the particular knowledge should be given to it. So far you only know how NLP applications are working. So what you do not know right now is that like how that knowledge is fed, how they work. So that's beyond the scope of this session. But anyway, we will look to an extent how these things will work. So far, this is clear how computers are understanding our human text and speech. That is the session is about. Any questions so far? No more.
I have no question.
Okay. No questions means I'm really scared. Nobody understood or everybody understood?
Everything is clear.
It's clear. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Clear, clear, very clear.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Okay. Yeah. So we will see morphology. This is a classification task, supervised classification task. That's how we should understand this. So morphology is a study of morphemes and their arrangement in the forming words. Okay, so the cannot be divided further. So the free, desk, eat. So this you cannot divide them further. If you divide, you will fail. Okay. So or this can be divided, but that will be meaningless. So some words can be divided, but that will be meaningless. If this is confusing, just forget it. Okay. So boys and girls can be divided into boy plus yes, girl plus yes. I know this looks very absurd, but try to understand that. Remember that, and we are talking about like how language is being understood by computer. Computer is a baby, and we are teaching how we interpret. So this is how these are the techniques used by the computer to understand our language. So that's why we all know that boys is a plural and girls is a plural. We all know that, but how does a computer interpret that? It is a plural. It understands only by this case suffix. Okay, s is there, but it has also understand buses. Yes does not, the plus s does not work there, right? So there is a different suffix, so there are different form. So some does not even can anyone give me a, bizarre, I mean strange example which does not follow any rule? Yes, fish, fish, yeah, fishes, right? So yeah, yeah. So yeah, so certain things, singular and plural mean one and the same. So there's no hard rule you can make out for a language. So remember, we are only talking about English, and you have to do the same for. There are many languages in the world, and every language has to be fed with some language tools. Google has to answer all the languages, and it has to it has to understand every language. So the strategy is not the same for other languages, so we have to rebuild the strategy for other language. So what we are trying to understand is, I'll just coming. So morphemes, so the morpheme is the building block. So that's how the computer is understanding morpheme. This is free morphs on the bound morphs. So girls, this is a free morpheme, and this is a bound morpheme. So the bound morpheme means that case suffixes we are talking about. So this is going to classify. So when you have a SVM classifier or an naive classifier, this will look for this feature. This is a feature for it. Okay, yes is a feature. Then put this girl as a noun or a plural. I need this information, no? So girls sang well. I need to translate this sentence. Okay. So I need to translate this sentence mean I need to understand whether this is a noun or a verb, or this is a plural or a singular, right? So if you do it in Hindi or in any mother tongue you have, Tamil, so pengal. So how do I know that it is plural? I have to understand that it is a plural. Then only I can do this. So that's why we do morphology. It's a real-time example, application where it would fit. The difference between a free morphology and a bound morphology is that a bound morpheme cannot give meaning on its own. It has to attach to the free morpheme to get some give some meaning. So whether free morphemes can stand alone and can speak for itself. So girl can give meaning. If a girl is give can meaning, girls can give meaning. Yeah, and there is one more thing: inflectional and derivational. So inflectional morphology, if you attach some case suffixes, the tense would remain the same. Arrive is a verb. This is also a verb. But derivation morphology, you add some case suffixes, it gets transformed to some other arrival. So disposal, it is transforming to some other category. So class itself is changing. So that is derivation morphology. I'll quickly go through, so we have many more things to see. Ma'am, shall I skip all this, or because time is, we need some time to have a practical session, right? Okay. Circumfixes is nothing but why morphology. So when you build a classifier, you can. So at the end of the session, I'll be really happy if you have the confidence of building a morphological parser for your own mother tongue. You don't need to think of big. You can have a certain word. Okay, for a list of 10 words, maybe you can just write some rules. So maybe we will look at it like how can we do that. Circumfixes are nothing but like they will have prefixes and affixes. Some words will be having prefixes and affixes. You can even think of Indian language word. I don't know. Um, Somebody can tell me. So both, it has both prefix and suffix. So infix, I don't think Indian language has that. So between inside the word, they will have the suffixes. In general, this is called affixes. This can be prefix, postfix, or suffixes, or they can be infix. Within the word, this is Vietnamese. Vietnamese languages are infixes languages. So they have the suffixes inside the word. Then think of the NLP application. They have to parse. The parsers have to work a different way. I'm skipping all this. I'm sorry, because yeah, this is what I said. Indian languages are rich in morphology. So this tells you about the tense and the gender. I did not know Hindi, that's why I had not put it. Okay, so now coming to our NLP application. So we can see this, the Python version of it. Stemming and lemmatization, that's how we call this. The technical term we use it is that the stemming, morphological processing, a preliminary process for morphological processing, we can say that. The stemming is, we call it as dimensionality. We can use it as dimensionality reduction in ML application. Even in Google search, you can have many words like smile, smiling. Many variations are there. Not all words are indexed. All these variations cannot be stored in a different way. So then it will add more computational cost, right? So what Google will do is that it will truncate these suffixes. It will only retain this stem. This, we call it as a stem. So this, it does not need sometimes this. So all these smiling, smiled, everything will be put into a single place, and all the documents will be indexed together. So that's why we call stemming and lemmatization as a pre-processing step. The stemming and lemmatization are one and the same. So the only thing is that the stemming does not always give a meaningful word, but lemmatization will do. When you stem this word, it cuts the ing and it gives this. But lemmatizer is much more intelligent. It adds this e to you. That's how stemming and lemmatization. So this is parts of, for all these thing we are going to see the Python code. So this is completely a sequential task. If you look at languages, it's a sequence, right? So an adjective will always be followed by a noun. An adverb will always be followed by a verb. So here, all the math teachers, you can understand this better. Like, we work on sequential probability. Always we work on sequential probability or the joint probability in language, as far as language is concerned. Okay, so in ML, either you can go for probabilities, or you can go for this regression analysis, or those equations also you can go for, or you can also tap the statistics behind. Mostly NLP applications are tapping the probability. That's what I'm trying to say. So your parts of speech tagger, this is how it understands the grammar. So this is a tag: noun, this is verb, past tense, determiner, noun. So this is conjunction. So these are the tags given to it. When you give a sentence, it will output the tag. So this is very important for machine translation kind of applications. So this is a tag set. Pentree Bank, University of Pennsylvania, has built this, and it has come up with these standard tags. So you don't need to worry too much about this. Okay, so yeah, these are the tags. You teachers might be knowing better than me. Noun, verb, parts of speech, tags we have. So these are all classes. So for this is a supervised application. So for these classes, you have to build a multi classifier, which is the parts of speech tagger. Yeah, so this we can this makes language very difficult. So closed class is that the parts of speech tags, these adjectives, adverb, you don't add daily, right? So whatever words are there, we are satisfied, but that is not the case with the nouns. This is also making the language even more complex. So a few years back, these are not there in our dictionary, right? Google can both be a noun and a verb. Try to Google it and see. That's a verb. Google is a company. That's a noun. So it's like these words, fancy words are added by the generations. That means like mostly nouns and verbs are open classes. So these classes are extending day by day. People are adding more and more and more and verb, and this is burdening the NLP applications. And recently, uh, this has become very popular. Code makes is nothing but these days you type in English, but you use your mother tongue, right? I don't know like how to. Can anyone help me out to give a Hindi sentence? You write it in English. So that movie was very nice. So you write it in English actually, but you write it in. So this is what I'm meaning it. This is Amma, right? Amma means mom, and so you write it in your mother tongue, but you use English because we are not very okay to use our Tamil, I mean, mother tongue typewriter, right? So that is very difficult. So now our sentiment analysis processors or the movie reviews, these are working on this code mix. Code mix is nothing but like how, and in between you will use Amma is very good. Amma is very good means like there is English and there is also mother tongue. How does the computer understand? It's getting confused even more. So these are the and it has to understand that this is a word language Tamil, and the rest of them are English. Now it has to normalize back to English, and now it has to understand everything as a whole. So this is how computers are struggling with us, and most of us fret and fume with Google translation or Alexa, whatever it is. But thinking from their perspective, it's very difficult to understand how humans, even two humans talk, there's going to be a lot of disparity in understanding. So machines will even more suffer. But code mix, whoever computer science students or computer science teachers are interested in research, this has a very good scope in research. Ambiguity, yeah. So ambiguity i- is inherent in all levels in NLP. Language means ambiguity, right? So I can say in one, you're so beautiful, I can tell. But if you're in a bad mood, you will understand that, okay, you're kidding, you're pulling me down. So there's a lot of ambiguity involved. So it depends on people mood, it depends on the context you use, it depends on the pace you spoke, it depends on the facial expression. So ambiguity is prevalent right from the word level, and it is prevalent in all levels of languages. So like can be a verb or a preposition. This is a very simple example they have given. Around can be a preposition, particular, adverb. So how does a parts of speech tagger? So one helper is there. Always there's a context. So if I have a word apple, then the word fruit is somewhere around, at least far apart in this sentence. Then I can somehow identify that this is a fruit apple. It might not be very nearer, but this we call it as a context. In context, in which context you spoke. So if computer is presented somewhere, or the word Mac is present, then this apple is something. So that's how even NLP applications are working. It is tapping the context, and that's how it is understanding, disambiguating all these stuffs, and it is trying to understand human languages. Yeah. So coming to the approaches, so rule based. Okay. If you're a good grammar teacher and if you have a computer friend, then you both can sit together. You can feed the rules. Okay. So if you're good at Hindi, or if you're good at Gujarati, or any mother tongue, Telugu, Tamil, whatever it is, if you're good at it, you can give them. Okay. So if this word is there, plus this case affix is there, then this is this you can write it as a noun. Then your computer friend can do what she or he can do is that he can write some if else rule and then build a tagger. Very easy. It might not work for all words, but it is doable. That's what I said. So yeah, you can sit with your language friend, a linguistic friend, and if you have a computer science friend, you both can build a tagger. That's how even companies work. So even when we were working with Anna University, and we built this morphological parts of speech tagger, that's completely rule based. So we worked for Tamil. So it is completely rule based. It does not work on any ML technique, but it still works very good for most of the words. Even it works for literature type of words. So but the only thing is that, like, you have the rules have to be very vast, because the language is vast, right? Like, whatever language you pick up, the language is going to have various words, and you have to write rules for all those words. So you can build a parts of speech tagger completely based on rules. That's what this sentence also says. Human crafted rules based on lexical and other linguistic knowledge. You can try. So maybe you may not build a very good tagger, but you can pick some words, and you can do it. You can understand the case affixes, and you can try. So that is doable. So anyway, we'll see a parts of speech tagger for English. So other statistical model and neural network. So this LSTM, long short term memory. I don't know, like, this session was there. This is a very popular neural network used for English, I mean, language understanding. So because this understand the sequence, long short term memory, short term, that means it can understand a very lengthy context also. Also it can understand the shorter context. So I told you, right, to understand a word, it has to understand the context. That's very important. To understand a word, it is not enough to understand this word. It has to understand this word, the previous word, the previous word. So this is capable of understanding that. So that is what is this is about. This can be a machine learning model, or this can be a neural. This is deep learning. This is neural network model, or it can be a simply rule based. So whatever type of, or statistical, your Markov models, I told you, right, the sequence probability. So you can calculate, tap the probabilitical. You can count. Okay, if beautiful comes, the next word is going to be a noun. You can calculate the probability of it. In how many documents the noun is, I mean, preceded by beautiful. You can calculate the probability of it, and you can build a tagger. You need not have rules at all. Of course, you can have a little bit of rules. So if you are able to tap the statistics in the document, then you can also build that way. There are a number of ways to build a parts of speech tagger. Again, it is absolutely the individual choice or the company's choice. Yeah, when you talk of, it's a classification problem, right? So each noun, each parts of speech tag, that is parts of speech is nothing but like the grammatical category, noun, verb, that is the category. So each of the category is a class. You can use these classifiers, logistic regression, perceptron neural network, SVM, nearest neighbor, whatever you want, you can make use of it. Yeah, this sequence I will tell you. Yeah, this is how they work. So what is the transition probability? These numbers, right? So the probability of a sentence. So they have already done calculated for a given document. the probability of a word, the determiner, example, the coming before transforming into a noun. So the girl, the probability is 0.95. So they can calculate this, and they can this is how they play around the probability. They can build some models, and they can fix for certain structures, and they can do some process. So if they want to build a parts of speech tagger out of this, so if some word comes in, the beautiful girl, it's enough if they know this. Okay, determiner is there, then definitely the next will be adjective, and the next will be noun. They can build the tagger like this. So for that, they would have already calculated the probabilities and kept aside. That's what I wanted to um, tell you. So I think this will confuse you more. I don't want to uh, speak more on that. So information extraction. So I told you already that about this, right? What is the information? You want some information, and you want that. You want only that. So that is also NLP application. We're going to talk more on named entity. This is very, very popular one. Named entity is about like, ma'am, alert me when it is time up and we need to start the practical session, ma'am. It's already 3:42.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, ma'am,
Actually,
I need some time for practicals.
yes, ma'am. I think 1 hour may be needed, right?
1 hour may be needed.
Ah,
Shall we start the practical session? I'll leave it to the audience. Or shall we start, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Then you share the PowerPoint. We will learn through the PowerPoint.
Okay.
You
Okay,
start.
fine.
hands-on.
Everybody
Yeah.
are okay. Start the coding session, please.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Uh, yeah, I'll start from the text to speech.
Ah, yes, ma'am. Because all we do for 6 month course, no, all we cannot teach in one day.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's
I thought I'll finish very fast, but yeah. Okay.
it's
No problem, ma'am. We will go through the PowerPoint, and any doubt we will search in internet and we will learn. But coding session important.
okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Okay, okay, fine. It's good that I asked and good that you said. Okay. This one, this link, it shall be the same. No, right now, ma'am.
Uh-huh. You want to share code share?
Oh, okay, I will do this. Okay. Okay. You want me to
No, no.
open this?
I. It is up to you. Can explain and copy that code in the code share. Is that
Okay.
fine? Yeah.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Yes,
This
share.
NLTK,
Mm.
yes, ma'am. NLTK is the Natural Language Toolkit. Okay, that's the library. Like we had sklearn in the morning, NLTK is the very popular library for NLP. So you have to import it, copy this.
Ma'am, open a new code share, ma'am, and then copy this line over there.
Code share, ma'am.
Code share, you just
I think chat box is enough, ma'am. These are very small programs only.
okay, okay, then it's fine. So let them open Google
Yeah. So let them open Google
Colab.
Colab,
Okay.
and you
Confirm
can.
once everyone is ready. Please confirm once is everyone ready.
No mobile function.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, what will be the objective of this particular program? I mean,
We are going to stemmer and lematizer. That's what we are going to do.
okay.
And we are also doing that parts of speech tagger. And we'll also see how text to speech can work. That's what we are going to see. And then I will leave to Subin. Done. So this is
Ma'am,
photo
it's
stem.
not so urgent because Subin is handling tomorrow and day after
Okay.
tomorrow.
Okay,
So
ma'am.
you
Okay.
will access confusion matrix that time also. So you will
Okay.
keep in a slow pace so that they
Okay,
will.
ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That is imported. Everybody. Import NLTK. We are just taking that library and we are putting into the Colab. That's what it means. NLTK is Natural Language Toolkit, and you can also nltk.org. You can see like whatever I was talking today. You can find all the libraries there. So once you're done with this session, you can explore more on that. Everybody are done? Can we move to the next step? Yes, ma'am. Chat box, ma'am. Code share link. Somebody wants code share. I'm not sharing, ma'am. Do you want me to share? It's all very smaller ones only, ma'am. It's not like K-means.
A chat box is enough because everybody cannot open code share. So better chat box.
Okay, you.
No, no, kindly share the code share link because some people are keep on posting no, like yes, no, doubt. Because of that, that has gone up.
Okay, ma'am.
I-
Yeah,
I-
import NLTK. So this is the code share link. Import NLTK. You can just type, ma'am. It's much more easy than that. And then run it.
Nandu, kudu. Mobile kudu.
Okay, so then now we have many stemmers. So NLTK.stem. You remember in the morning, sklearn.cluster. From that we imported k-means. The similar way we are doing here also. From NLTK.stem, there are so many stemmers. We are importing the Porter stemmer. So Porter stemmer is a rule-based stemmer. So, and for that rule-based stemmer, we are creating the object. So I'm posting this. Code share link. Code share link also I will post. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so once we are done, we can run this. Now you give some word. It need not be running. It can be anything. You're giving the word and you're storing it in the variable word. Stem word is also variable. This PS is the object we created. Dot stem is the function, and you're passing on this word here, and you're printing that stem word. That is what this program. The entire stemmer is these many lines only. Sharing this.
I'm Shubha, ma'am.
சொல்லுங்கம்மா.
You can erase all the previous programs.
Input. Okay. Okay. So when you run, you'll get the output. You can write any word here. You will see the stem as the output. This Porter stemmer is working based on rules only. It does not have any ML algorithm inside it, but it is working mostly fine. Everybody got the output for stemmer?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Now we're going to see a small variant of stemmer, that is lematizer. I told lematizer is a bit more intelligent than stemmer. How it is becoming intelligent, I told you, right? Like whatever NLP application you are building, you need some knowledge to be fed. That is what this knowledge is given using WordNet. This WordNet is supplying meanings to it. It's kind of dictionary. So when I'm speaking something, you will not understand a word if that word is not in your memory. If that word is supplied in your memory, then you will understand that sentence. The same way, this WordNet is supplying a word to the lematizer. Even after removing the stem, it'll if there is any spelling mistake in the stem, then it will correct it using this WordNet, and it is giving the meaningful correct spelling stem. But this WordNet lematizer has some errors, but it's okay. So you can check that. I'm copy pasting this. This is about stemmer. You got to download. So sometimes you got to download. Once you download, then you need not download it again and again. You're downloading the WordNet to your Google Colab. That's what it means. I have to copy it here. Somebody had some error. What is that? So if you download it, it'll show like this, downloading package. And then you're creating a lematizer like you did for stemmer. Okay. And then you're calling this lematizer.lematize. There we used stem function. Here we are using lematizer and lematize function. And then you can give the word running. Okay. So I should be crying. It should be crying or yeah. So same way you can check here. Sometimes stemmer also gives very correct. I mean gives correct stem. Let's try for crying. Yeah. So this gives CRI. Okay. The stem is CRI when it is done for with stemmer. But when you use a lematizer, it just spell checks it, and then it gives the correct stem, that is a meaningful stem, that is cry. So that's how this WordNet is working as a good knowledge base behind this. So WordNet lematizer. So in this word, the name itself says that it's a WordNet lematizer. So in order to use this, you should have downloaded this, and you're creating a lematizer function, and you're calling through that object. You're calling that function, inbuilt function lematize. You called stem function.
Excuse me. For lematize crying, it is giving cry, but for running, it is giving running.
No, no. Change this word, sir. I had a.
Now, if I give running, why is it giving the complete word running?
For running, it is giving running. Huh? Yeah, it is running because like it is not working for that particular word. I told you, right? For all the words, the tools may not work correctly. For running, it is not lemmatizing. This wordnet lemmatizer is not lemmatizing it. You got the point, sir? Errors may be there with the tools, but it is working for crying. So that's why I should have tried that. But stemmer is working for running.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Ma'am, I'm getting errors in that type errors. Stem function missing one requirement, positional argument, word.
Okay, sir. Can you share your screen? And for the previous question, sir, stemmer is working for running, but lemmatizer fails for running.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay, but the tools will have errors, sir, definitely. Yeah, so whoever got the error can share your screen. Yes, ma'am.
No, ma'am. Instead of sharing the screen, it will take time. Then
Ah,
you copy the syntax and post it in the chat box.
okay,
Then
okay.
you can figure it out from chat box itself.
Yes, can you post the
Copy
error?
I mean, syntax
Yeah, code syntax.
also in the chat box. Mishra sir, no? Mehra, K.S. Mehra.
Ma'am, I've just written the code in chat box.
Yes, yes, yes.
Where
Ma'am,
is
can you have a look?
the other window, sir?
K.S. Mehra.
Yes, ma'am.
The word running, stem missing one required positional argument word. Okay. Okay.
It is
One
on line
second, sir.
number. It is on line number 2. Stem word equal to ps dot stem word.
Okay.
Type error stem function missing one required positional argument word.
Okay. One second, sir.
Above that, you write word is equal to running.
Word this you gave?
Yeah, ma'am. Word is equal to running.
Yes, sir, he has given.
Did you run this cell, sir, before that?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Then it should work. Did you run? I mean,
Yeah. Again, it's giving the same error.
Because of the space, I guess. In that second sentence, there is space. Maybe he has to remove the space.
I
Where?
mean, where is the space? Are you sure, sir? Did you word is equal to running stem word is ps dot stem of word print stem word correct only.
Space may be there before the stem word.
Yeah, second
Try
line.
No,
Yeah, might be there.
no,
can you
ma'am.
try to
No
remove
space.
that, sir?
This I have done this 2 times,
Okay.
but still this final again same stem word. I am getting the same error out
Yeah,
here.
and one more thing you remember, sir, Python is very indentation specific. So everything should be in the same line
Yeah, that is properly intended, ma'am. Every each instruction is just below the one. Word, S, and P all are in the same alignment.
or in
17.
the same alignment. Okay. Then what should be the problem?
Anil, is it there?
No, ma'am, it's actually correct. Mm,
Problem they quickly figure out.
the code is working fine only.
Import
Can it,
NLTK. I have done this. Import from NLTK poster. I have done this one. Second, third.
did they throw any error, sir? This one?
No, ma'am. The first and second state cell both are fine. The third one
Okay.
where I have written word equal to running in this code, it's showing the error. Only this error. Stem function missing one required positional argument.
Uh, I too get
And
the
after
name
that, I
error
have
next
written
coding.
that one NLTK to download WordNet. It's doing fine.
Okay, import. This import NLTK is there. Ma'am,
Yeah,
one second,
I
can
have
I
written.
check his screen, ma'am?
Yes, yes.
Ma'am, can I
Okay.
share my screen now?
Yeah. I should stop first. Yeah. Refresh your collab. Yeah, should be. Yeah, there should be. If there is any connectivity problem, also that is also possible, sir.
Uh, maybe, ma'am, maybe.
Or you try NLTK dot.
That is a Stack Overflow error. It's not the error of Google Colab or this one. If he can Google it, the exact error is showing there.
Okay.
Ma'am, I have shared my screen. Can you see this?
I'm trying to pin it, sir. Yes.
This one.
Uh, PS. Yeah, the POTUS stemmer does not have the parenthesis, sir.
Which
POTUS
one?
stemmer, there is a parenthesis in the function.
This one.
Open and close. Now run it. Now run this. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Well,
you.
no problem, sir. You can stop presenting. So that I'll start.
Parenthesis you have added, ma'am?
No, that is a syntax, ma'am.
No. Sir added, or you have, you can able
No,
to.
Ma'am, I have done this.
sir missed it, ma'am.
Sir did, no? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
He did not use the
Sometimes, no, we
parenthesis.
can able to access the third party computer using mouse control also we can take from them. That is also possible, but just like that I asked. Yeah.
No, ma'am. That in that sense,
We can
he
take the
only
mouse
added.
from them and then we can do editing.
Okay. I just suggested, ma'am.
Fine.
Okay. So the lemmatizer, everybody are done. Lemmatizer and stemmer.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine, ma'am. We can do.
Yeah. Now we will see the tagger. So we have to first download the tagger. Averaged perceptron tagger. That's the name of the tagger. There are so many other taggers as well. And this punct is a sentence tokenizer. Okay, I'll just first explain the code and then we can go for it. So the punct is a sentence tokenizer. So why? Because like certain applications cannot understand a sentence. It has to tokenize a sentence. Sentence tokenization is different from word tokenization. Identifying a sentence as a whole is different. The delimiters are different. So identifying a full stop or some other thing is different, or understanding a word by word is different. To understand a word by word, it is enough if you just find a white spaces in between, but that is not the case for sentence. So punct is downloaded, is a sentence tokenizer, and from NLTK tokenize, import word tokenize. So this word tokenizer works on top of the sentence tokenizer. It identifies the words present in each and every tokens. So that's why I said there are many levels into NLP applications in which it tries to interpret the language. Now you give a text which is essentially primarily a sentence. Word tokenize is a function. Inside this function, you pass this argument, which is a sentence. Butterfly is beautiful. Now you are passing this text into this print statement. Okay, so you don't need to do this. I was teaching my student. So you can just print that, and then you call this NLTK. We have already imported, right? Dot pose underscore tag. That is parts of speech underscore tag of text. This function won't work if you don't have these two. Why? Because these parts of speech tag will only work if you have this average perceptron tagger in your Google Colab. Everybody understood? So this is what is happening. You are given a sentence, and this punct sentence tokenizer this word tokenize can only work when this punct is there. So it is understanding each and every word, and it is trying to uh, understand the parts of speech tag. So I'm running it. So butterfly is noun, is this verb, and beautiful is JJ. JJ means adjective. So I'm passing on this code.
Excuse me, ma'am. Please share the before set of code also.
Oh, yeah, ma'am. Okay. Lematizer code, you mean, ma'am?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, this is nltk.download. That is not okay. I'll correct it. What's up? Yes, ma'am. Okay, just check my screen, ma'am. If this is your code is in Lematizer or parts of speech tagger? No, ma'am. In which code? Tagger or Lematizer? Okay, so here is the Lematizer code. Just cross check if the indentation is similar to this. Indentation is done, ma'am. Parts of speech tagger, everybody got it? Aparna, ma'am, right, ma'am? Yeah. You got it? Where in what program, sir? Lematizer or parts of speech tagger? Lematizer is showing up. So these 4 lines are lematizer, sir. nltk.download wordnet from nltk.stem.import wordnet lematizer. And these 4. You want me to copy this again? Uma, ma'am, shall I ask him to share, ma'am? Okay, you can share, sir. Or Aparna, ma'am, you can share. Whoever wants to share, you can share. Nobody sharing? Okay. Okay. Okay, ma'am. Okay, sir. 1 second, ma'am. nltk.download. Ma'am, it is not indented, right? So everything is misaligned, right? So try to push them in a single line, ma'am. nltk.download and nltk.download punct, they both are not indented, ma'am. The first line you align. Okay. Sir, yours also is the same? You want to share? You can share now. Okay, sir. Okay, so the tagger is done then? Tagger everybody got, or this is how you get the output. Tagger everybody got? Parts of speech
Done.
tagger?
Done, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Done.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then, yeah. So before this inset, and these are the variants. So I want you to try this. This is really nice. Then we can, if we have time, then we can see the rest. I want you to do this text to speech. I don't know why it is not working for English, but it is working for Hindi and Tamil. It's okay. So we are going to use GTTS. GTTS is Google text to speech. Okay. So import Google text to speech. I think you have to install it also. Yeah. So first this command, it's working through Google. Okay. I'll just pass on this command. We'll first finish this, and then if we have time, then we please copy paste this. Text to speech. TTS stands for text to speech, G for Google. Yeah, and code share also I have to do, right? So if you do this, it gets installed like this. Okay, done. And now you have to pip install the play sound. We have to install the play sound. And from play sound, you have library called play sound. Yeah, I will also copy paste in code share. This also you can copy. Yeah, so you can run this, you will get this. It should work for English. A few days back I showed the demo for my students. I don't know, for some reason it's not working for English. But this is how it works for English. You can give this. TTS is a variable, GTTS is a object, and GTTS track the spellings. So you give some sentence, language is given English. You play this, this speech gets saved in the sample. I don't know. There's some changes maybe made in GTTS. I should work out, but fortunately, it is working for Hindi and Tamil. So if this is copied, this is Fran. You can
Ma'am,
skip the.
for English, let us try. If not working,
No,
then
ma'am. I tried in the morning for several times. There is some yeah, there is some change, ma'am. I don't know. Like it was working few days back. I don't know. There should be some change in the library itself.
okay.
Anyway, we'll work for Hindi and Tamil, ma'am. Hindi. Okay. So now we can. Can copy paste this. The file is getting downloaded, ma'am, but it's not playing. That's the problem.
Okay, okay.
It is. It's saying unable to play. Maybe
Should we
there
run
is
it? Ma'am, should
Yes.
we run it?
Yes, ma'am. You should run this. This text, this language is HI. HI is Hindi. I don't know how to. I just translated. Yeah, Hindi mein ek udaharan hai. Am I right? I don't know. Pardon
Yes,
all my pronunciation.
yes, yes.
Yeah, TTS2.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. TTS2, it gets saved, and you should save it in a MP3 file. Okay, so this sample.mp2, you can save it.
Ma'am, just share the previous two commands. Previous two TTS1 dot TTS1 equal to, and the next cell also.
Ma'am, you are saying, excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that cell and next cell, please
Ma'am,
share.
you are saying that we need to save it in an MP3 file, but the name is sample1.mp1. Shouldn't be it be MP3?
Oh, that says the okay.
And we can write sample1.mp3 and sample2.mp3 like that.
Yeah. So, but this were okay. One second. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. That's a mistake I made. Yeah. Thank you so much, ma'am. This is the silly mistake I have done.
Actually, it will help when you post to others. They will identify.
No, in the morning I got up at 3 o'clock, ma'am. So I was like, maybe.
Once? Can you play it once, ma'am?
Yeah.
It is not audible to us.
Okay, ma'am.
What it is, I like NLP. Yeah?
I like NLP. Yes, ma'am.
Play it once.
Did you hear it, ma'am?
No.
Did you hear it? You can download it in your. You can run it, ma'am. You can run it in your system, and you can.
Okay, ma'am. Can you share? Okay.
Okay, so then I am passing. Thank you so much, ma'am. Whoever corrected
that. After code number 15, please share that one.
This one, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm sharing it.
Excuse me, ma'am. In that Hindi alone, we can see that text equal to, but for English, there is no text equal to. What is the difference, ma'am?
Which one, ma'am?
in Hindi language, we can see text equal to the Hindi sentence. But in English,
That
there
is a
is
different. I mean, that function is accepting various form of arguments, ma'am. That doesn't make a difference. This
okay.
GTTS,
Okay.
a same function can accept any form of argument. The different ways they take.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So now you can.
Please, share that code, ma'am.
Yeah. I shared it, ma'am.
Yeah, got it.
Got it. Yeah. But this sample MP2 works for Hindi, ma'am. I don't know. It's very strange. Okay. Then these two should work. And you can also do the same for Tamil if there is any Tamil people there. So otherwise we can skip this. I'll also post this. It's the same. The language has to be changed. That's it. Okay. Hindi.
I like NLP.
Yeah. I heard that.
I like NLP.
You can type whatever you want there. It works. So all the text to speech. I'm sorry. I have to copy in other chat box also, right? I forgot that. Okay.
Ma'am, share Tamil sentence also.
I shared, ma'am. In one chat box, I shared. Yes.
The people in the second group.
Yes, ma'am. I shared. Telugu, I'm not very sure. I don't know like how many. I'm very sorry. Since like Tamil, I know, and Hindi, maybe majority people should be there. That's why I took these two languages. I'm sorry about others. So, but you can always like find. I couldn't find time to do the rest of the languages. Yeah, I should also do here, right? Yeah, I think I did in.
Ma'am, I have one doubt.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it possible to say my own voice instead of computer recorded voice?
If you do that in
Because
yeah.
When I speak, it's my voice. No, Umarani voice is different from Shubhalalita voice. Is it possible to do, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am, you can train that, ma'am. And there are neural network models, so you and me can work together. And people, and I've seen one project on GitHub. They have used, I mean, Titanic heroine is there. Like in her voice, they wanted to hear. So they have trained their models. So that can be personalized, ma'am. But the only thing is that it has to be trained. That's it. We have to train. Did I answer your question, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
We have to train. This library And this library, ma'am, this Google TTTS, we are using it as a black box, but we really want to do some research on text to speech. Then we have to develop our own text to speech model. That is very, very difficult. For the past 1 year, I am trying to, but I am failing, ma'am. I'm not able to. It's very, very difficult, ma'am. It needs a lot of training data.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. No issues.
So everybody played that. Can I hear from one of the audiences?
Ma'am, code is running, but I'm not able to hear the sound. Please, can you just repeat how it happened?
Yeah. So when you say click this, no, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. When you click this, I'm sorry, I didn't run this. So, okay. So when you click this, you just wait for a while. It'll appear here in the left-hand side.
Got it,
Even
ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. Then you have to click it, or you can download it. It'll download for you. Then you can play it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. No problem, ma'am. You got it? Yes.
Shiva ma'am, is it audible?
Yes, ma'am. It is, ma'am. It is. Thank you so much,
Okay,
ma'am.
No, recorded voice somewhere. If we read
Yes, ma'am.
our own voice, no, it will be good.
Yes, ma'am. We have to, and people, we have to do that, ma'am. It's a very good place to do research. We will do it.
Excuse me, ma'am. I didn't get it.
You didn't get it, ma'am?
Yeah, actually, in the folder, I am seeing many folders like bin, root, content, data
No,
lab, but I
ma'am.
am not seeing that.
Maybe it's taking a while for you, ma'am. It will take a while. But
Okay.
no, ma'am. She's not able to see the file itself. That's a problem. Am I right, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. But I am
So it
seeing
will.
bin, root, boot, content, data lab.
Can you share your file? Yeah. Share your screen, ma'am.
Wait a minute, ma'am. Just
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, now itself sharing, ma'am. Okay. No, ma'am, I will share. For them only we have. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. You can start sharing. You're asking whether your screen is visible. It is not, ma'am.
Okay. I will share it. Is it seeing, ma'am?
No, actually. Maybe, yeah, it is. Yes, ma'am, it is. TTS3.S3, yeah. Okay.
But
Did
here
you
in
run that, ma'am?
Yes.
Ma'am, actually click that folder, ma'am. Folder symbol.
This one?
No, ma'am. The orange one. So just move here. This way. Yes, ma'am. Click that.
Yes.
Okay. click the middle one, ma'am. I don't know, like, where are you?
Go to the files, ma'am.
Files. No,
No.
not that file, ma'am.
Sorry. Next, left. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
No, not this one. Folder, and then click there.
Where she is, ma'am?
That one only, ma'am. Next, left. Click, ma'am.
Ma'am, go to content there.
Ma'am, it is asking the path, so it is already there, no? Here. It is
Content, ma'am. Content.
Open the content folder, ma'am. There.
Content folder. Thank you, sir. Yeah, it is there.
Go to the content folder. You just download, ma'am, and then it will download in your desktop.
I got it.
Fine. Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, Umarani, ma'am. I think we are done.
Yes, ma'am. So we have successfully reached the end of the session. Thank you so much. So interactive.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Participants, would you like to continue for confusion matrix, or shall we do tomorrow? Anyhow, Subin will take the practice session tomorrow. Feedback will be shared. I think Subin is, I will call him.
So if I am taking, I'll share after 15 minutes. If I'm not taking, I'll share now.
Anyhow, we are handling session tomorrow, no? So we will plan.
No, feedback is not yet shared. So if I'm taking, I'll share it after 15 minutes.
Yes, fine. So it is decided to take confusion matrix tomorrow because he is handling practice session for both Thursday and Friday. So we have enough time to interact with Subin sir. So with this, we reached the end of the session today. So I should thank Subhalalita ma'am.
I'll share the feedback. I'll share the feedback. Wait.
Ma'am, I'll thank Subhalalita for your valuable time and your enriched knowledge shared with us. It was so useful and then interactive, made us feeling happy learning.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And I should really thank you for believing in me and giving me this opportunity. And it's a wonderful experience, like sharing my thoughts with the teachers. This is a really different experience I had. Thank you so much for all the teachers and for all the audience.
Actually, all teachers are so much worried how to take the subject to the school children.
Okay.
So,
Yes. Reload it. Please reload it. Please. I made some changes now.
It says it's no longer accepting responses.
Yeah, 1 minute. I'll turn it on.
Okay, ma'am.
Try now.
That same link.
The same link. Just refresh the page.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much, ma'am, and thank you everyone for the wonderful
you can
experience.
read your feedback people are posting in the chat box.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you all for the feedback.
Thank you, ma'am. It was a wonderful session.
Thank you so much. Thank you.